everybody, and welcome back to Harp 101, where we've been discussing all of the basics of how to play the harp. Today is our third lesson, and we're going to be discussing basic plucking and playing techniques. So let's go ahead and get started. As a quick review from last week, remember when you put your hand on the strings, you want to have your thumb pointed up nice and high and your other fingers pointed downward towards the soundboard. Also, before you start playing, think about having about 2 inches of space between where your second finger touches the string and where your thumb touches the string. This will ensure that your thumb stays nice and high and will make all of your playing easier. Okay, so now we want to think about where our thumb and our fingers should actually pluck the strings. We don't want to pluck with just the tip of our finger. We actually want to be plucking with the side of the tip of our fingers, like this. You see where the string is actually crossing my fingers? It's not crossing just on the tips like this. It's actually crossing across the side of the tips of my fingers. And the same thing with my thumb. This ensures that my hand stays in the correct position with my thumb up and my other fingers down. Because if I was just playing with the tips of my fingers instead of the side of the tips of my fingers, it would completely mess up the hand position we talked about. Okay, now let's talk about how to actually pluck the strings. When you pluck your thumb, you want to pluck with a closing over motion, and you want it to actually touch your second finger between your first and second knuckles. This will ensure that you get a nice full tone when you play. So you want to make sure that you close that thumb all the way. You don't want it to stop part way. You want it to actually touch your second finger like this. When you pluck your other fingers, the same rule applies. You want to close them all the way into your palm. This will ensure that you don't build up tension in your hand and that you get the nicest tone. So make sure when you pluck those fingers that you actually feel them touch the palm of your hand after plucking, like this. And also, one other thing to note after you pluck the string is that you want to close and release. So you don't want to close your finger into your hand and keep it tensed up into your palm, or again, that's going to add tension into your hand. So you want to pluck, let it touch your palm, and then release just slightly. I find it helpful to think of there being little springs on the palm of my hand. So I pluck my finger, let it touch my palm, and then release it. Again, the less tension you have in your hand, the more smooth and beautiful your playing will be, and also the less tired you're going to be when you're done. Your hand position after plucking all of the strings should resemble that of a sleeping baby. Think about seeing a little baby lying there. Their hands are relaxed, their fingers are closed gently into their palms, and their thumbs are tucked over, but not tense as if they can't let something go. No, their position is always relaxed, and that's what we want to be like when we pluck the strings on a harp. So close those fingers over, close those thumbs all the way over, but make sure that your hand stays relaxed when you're doing it. This is what it should look like when you're playing. Important thing to note when you're plucking the string is that you want your fingers to remain gently curved outwards. In other words, you don't want this knuckle here to end up being collapsed like this when you're plucking. Instead, you want it to remain nice and strong and even curved out just a little bit so that all of the plucking motion comes from this second knuckle rather than this one. Let me illustrate what that looks like on the string so you can see what I mean. It's a little easier to see that way. See how my second finger as well as my other fingers are gently curved as they're placed on the strings? That's how you want them to look, and you want to maintain that slight curve as you pluck so that you don't allow your knuckles to collapse. Alright, so those are the basics of plucking technique. You want to keep your thumbs high and your fingers down just like we discussed. You want to pluck with the side of the tip of your finger. You want those fingers to remain gently curled, and when you pluck, you want to close them all the way into your palms. Your thumb should close over and touch between your first and second knuckle. And remember, again, stay nice and relaxed when you're doing this. The final position after plucking should look like a sleeping baby, gently closed into your palm with your thumbs gently closed over. And that's all you need to know for basic plucking technique. Hi Hi everybody, thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like it and subscribe to my channel. Also, comment below about anything you'd like to learn about the harp and maybe your topic will be the subject of my next video. Until then, happy harp adventures!